account expired. I don't know if you
Yep.
read that.
Yeah. I reply back.
Yeah. Okay.
Check the announcement. There's a couple other options that you can use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm aware. I was aware of it last week. I emailed where I added the announcement.
Okay, I knew you sent announcements back, but
Yep.
I didn't know it was a reply to that anyway. Okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So there's some choices on there, and so I'll go over it again right when class starts. So, hi, how you doing?
Good, great.
Did you have that Ozobot thing?
Yeah, it went really well. I'll show you guys
I
a
think I saw
video
the
of
mayor,
it.
The mayor was here with his good or something.
Do I know?
The mayor was
Our
there.
Lady of the Sacred Heart is a private
Yeah,
school
mayor's
with
here.
average ACT and SAT scores and a 100%.
Yeah. That went real well. It was a long morning, but it was worth it. It was good. A lot of help. Hey, you want- Yeah, that's what Russ has. I told her, I think you-
Okay. So, yeah, they didn't know where.
No,
So
it didn't
don't
come out.
worry about that.
Yeah. No, so yeah. And I know you. So, figure stuff out. So.
If I have time.
We also.
He's not a big Lego thing.
Okay.
So I have.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, I figure it's still.
I got Jaden involved in the screen, which he's done. So that's how it's up. Screen.
I don't know what it's like in home. I just see it.
It's like, so good to give him something else to do.
Well, the Lego is.
Legos are good. They're good. There's a Lego place in Schaumburg.
It's, everything. His age is the same as the.
Okay.
They do a special.
Okay. Sweet.
So they end up going for it's fine. It's down there. So.
Well, while you're playing with it, show your students, but you choose to keep.
Okay.
Enjoy it. How's everybody doing tonight? Right, well, hey. But yeah, it's too nice outside to come to school, I guess. I don't know. All right, tomorrow's supposed to be really nice. I do have a video to show you. Saw a little Ozobot poster up here. Saturday we had a number of local leaders and their kids and grandkids come, and this is the third Ozobot Learn Coding with Robot workshop. And so the idea is to get more exposure in the community. Ideally, like to offer it to through libraries and things like that. Every event I've been, and also underprivileged youth. There's been the first two events. We did have one or two sponsored underprivileged youth that were sponsored. I sponsored one, and some other folks sponsored some as well. And so that's kind of cool as well. But anyway, I'll show you a little news came out and did a piece on it and got some good camera shots. These are some photos from the day. They did both line coding, and then one of our students, one of the CIS students, she had a big piece of paper that her and her dad put together, about the size of my desk here, about the size of the desk here, about 6x4, and had a whole bunch of cool lines on it, and the kids came up and played with that. So I'll show you these kids got a really serious look on his face. I'll show you the covers from the news here.
Coding is only for those who enjoy math and science. A course at Rock Valley College. Some people might believe computer programming and coding is only for those who enjoy math and science. A course at Rock Valley College, however, is showing that anybody can learn the tricks, all through the help of a little robot called Ozobot.
The whole process they will learn today in a matter of 2 hours is how to actually program a robot to learn automatic functions.
Hey, you know,
Community leaders and young children being introduced to a course on computer programming at Rock Valley College. With the help of a tiny robot called an Ozobot, the course shows students how to use code to make the golf ball-sized robot change color and move in different directions. Computer science professor and teacher of the course, Charles Conkle, says anybody can learn how to do it.
the age range we've had since December, we've had them each month on the learning coding robots. It's been from 6 years old to 86 years old. Is the age range we've had. And so yeah, literally anyone can learn. If they can follow instructions for an hour, you're good.
Rock Valley College President Doug Jensen says that the course allows the learning of several different subjects to be enjoyable.
The secret behind this is actually you're teaching them science, engineering, mathematics skills. So yes, they're going to have fun, but they're going to learn how to code. They're going to learn how to write code.
I believe this morning is getting the community aware that coding is important. STEM and STEAM both is important in our K-12 curriculum.
Conkle believes that coding is the future, and and that parents should consider it as an option for their children's education.
Coding, I think, is something that parents, maybe up to this point haven't been, hasn't been a selection for possibly, and it should be a selection. And so hoping getting that awareness out.
The next Learning Coding with Robotics course will be on October 25th, and seats are still open.
It's not October, it's March. He
Register
corrected
at
us since then.
myRBC.org. Chantel?
Anyway, so the next one, if you go to myRBC.org, it'll redirect you to, actually, if you go to the homepage of our course site, or of our division site, there's a link to buying tickets for the coding. You guys do get $10 off, so it's normally it's $75 for the robot. You get it for $65 basically, and you get the 3-ring binder take home. The other one that's coming up is Wednesday, March 1st. We have a free hour of code. It's taking place at the RBC downtown location, the first Wednesday of the month, and it's from 5 to 6 p.m. It actually shows you how to create a complete phone app in an hour that you can share with family and friends. I think next month we're doing, last month we did Flappy Birds type of app. Next month we're doing Frozen, the movie Frozen, an app based on the movie Frozen. So yeah, we'll probably have a lot of girls there, but that's okay. We have a few guys that are coming. Because what's cool about it is when they finish one, which a lot of kids do and adults do, they'll finish it like 20, 30 minutes. They can go on and do another one. The most popular one has been Flappy Birds and Minecraft. If you're into Minecraft, you could also come and do that as well. But what's cool about it is you can share your apps once they're finished. I'll show you some examples here of some that was done last time. We had about 28 folks show up. What's cool about the hour of code is the whole families come. We had a whole row, 2 rows of families that came, and then afterwards they, continue to do the coding together. So here's a group that showed up here, and I always have them do like hour of code at the end of it. And now everybody's awake. And here's some of the apps that were completed. And again, this is the first time they've ever done this, so some of these are pretty cheesy, but so if you've ever played Flappy Birds, you're familiar with it. This one has it change the character every time it passes an obstacle. I'll go to another one. And you can do this has a really high level of gravity, and the numbers on this one, I don't know what they did. It just says 999 throughout the whole time. So, but anyway, so that's just a couple examples. And so if you go to myRBC.org, you can register for either one. And I do have, who's helping on the March 30th date, at the Barnes & Noble? I think I've had this class was actually the most that volunteers. So I think I offered to you guys first. And you do get a robot, by the way, for this. It's already been ordered for those who email me. So thank you for doing that. And there is a reason for that. So a selfish reason on my end. I want you to get the robot to play with it. Maybe you get excited about coding. Hey, maybe take some coding classes. You never know. And so, but no, it'll be a lot of fun on the 30th of March. If I go to let's see, the dates to remember here, has all the dates. So we've got, I already mentioned March 1st, which is the free hour of code, downtown Rockford. Oh, if you're graduating this spring, deadline for graduation applications due. Hack Nights is tomorrow night. There's going to be a student that's a graduate of here and also a graduate of DePaul University in gaming development. He's going to be sharing a first-person shooter app that he created with Unreal Engine. And I think I showed you guys maybe a little video of that. Yeah.
I'm just wondering, I saw this ad for the University of the People offering.
Do I know?
I saw an ad for University of the People offering a computer science degree. You've never heard of University of the People?
No.
Well, I was just wondering, because I didn't know if it was real or not.
No, I've not heard of it. I'm not saying it's not real. I just not heard of it. It might be real.
Yeah, apparently you just pay the testing fee. If
Oh.
If you pass all the classes, then you get a bachelor's degree in computer science. I was just
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah, it doesn't sound.
I don't know.
I mean, there's tons of universities like that, by the way. So yeah, doesn't surprise me. But Chris Caldwell's is going to demo first real engine, first person shooter game. So anybody play any first person shooter games, or you have in the past, or know somebody that has? So we'll be demoing what he's done there. He also will have also has a list or link to his GitHub page that has the entire engine that can be downloaded, and game can be downloaded, and even you can fork it and start creating your own. So out of that session, he just wanted to get folks interested in gaming, and so it's going to be like 10 or 15 minutes. So will be pizza provided as always. Hack Nights is the fourth Wednesday of the month, and usually a member or a guest will demo something they're working on. It could be a project in class. It can be something they've created. Last semester, we had a gentleman that is an inventor that came in and demoed a scale he created with an Arduino robot and had about 8 sensors. So he put it on the scale. It would measure the box or whatever it was he put on the scale, and then tell you how much the shipping was going to be. And he used it actually in a weekly auction that he worked for. That, I don't know if you guys ever heard of these online auctions where it's like all over the world, people auction for everything from whole estates to, motorcycles, cars, whatever. So he would use this machinery he created, this robot scale, to actually ship things out. So anyway, stuff like that. But we have coders in there. We have designers, photographers, folks just generally interested in technology, just hanging out for an hour once a month. So it's a lot of fun. And it's upstairs in 2260 or 2620. If you remember the old numbers upstairs, it's 220 is what it is. Questions on that? Okay. And the next one's March 22nd, the next Hack Night. And Learning Coding with Robots, mentioned that. March 30th, Mini Maker Fair, mentioned that at Barnes & Noble. And thank you for helping those who, I think 5 or 6 of you guys are helping, so I'll be plenty of help, which from what I've heard, I'm having a meeting with them Friday, Barnes & Noble. I think they're predicting anywhere from 400 to 600 high school, middle school, grade school students going through there because the kids are District 205 is on spring break that week. And so if you've anybody been to a Mini Maker Fair at Barnes, it's pretty cool. They have like a whole bunch of fun stuff for kids to do. We'll be focusing on coding and robotics, what you guys will be helping with. So, all right. So tonight we're going to be talking about restoration. I did email everybody in the announcements anyway, because this brought to my attention last week or week before. Folky's starting to charge, so there is an announcement. Avail yourself to go over it, because it looks like they're charging $4 a month or $24 a year, which I've always paid for my hosting because I use it so much, but I don't expect you to. So 2 options I put in here, and there's more than this, but Flickr and Google Photos. Flickr is more in the line of what you're used to using with Foky. And so if I was to recommend one of the 2 on the look and feel of what Foky does, Flickr would be probably my recommendation. Google Photos is a little bit clunkier on sharing stuff than Flickr is. Flickr, you can share whole albums a lot easier and stuff like that. Whereas Google Photos, just like everything Google, they do everything's a little bit geekier, so it's a little harder to share stuff sometimes. And I did put an article here to compare the 2, Google Photos and Flickr. You can look at them and see which one you like, and then just choose it. And from here on out, start submitting your pictures through that service. Make sense? So I don't require you to pay for Foky. If you want to, that's great. Do I recommend it as far as a good service? If you're going to pay for one, oh, definitely I do. But you definitely don't have to for this class. So questions on that on the photo site changes, because you will need to change it if you don't want to pay $4 a month. Yes.
So I noticed we're doing the touch-up tonight. So the touch-up photo restoration?
Yes.
So, is it okay if we just submit the touched up photo, or do you want us to?
Well, you'll be submitting the touch-up ones on my Foki account.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll be submitting those on mine. So you'll put them on yours, if you want to, but the final one you'll submit to me. Yep. Yeah. What's cool about Foki is it lets you do that. I can create an album in Foki, give anybody an email. With that unique email, it dumps the photos to the album. So we'll be doing that. That's one reason why I pay $20 a year for it. So, but I don't expect you guys to. So photo site options, sign up for one of the two. Is anybody already signed up for like Flickr? How many signed up for Flickr already? Google Home, Google Photos. You guys already have Google Photos, like some of you too. So, and that works just fine because you can share each album separately, no big deal. All right, as you can see from the picture this week, photo restoration. Last week was white balance. This one I really, out of all the lab, I like this lab the best, the panoramic next week, and macro and lighting. I guess that's 5. Almost half the classes I like that. Anyway, this middle section here I really like, all the way up to portrait lab. From week 7 to week 12, it leads up to portrait lab. And that's where you get to invite your friends and family, by the way, to come to the class that night. When I was going through my graphics design degree in Springfield, Missouri at Drury University, we had to do a photo restoration. And from that photo restoration assignment, we did what's called an R-Addy Awards. R-Addy is kind of a nationwide design award. You might have heard of R-Addy before, possibly in other schools or something. And what it is a design award for design and layout. And so the class I was taking was design and layout with Photoshop and Quark Express, which taught you how to take photos, post manipulate them, put them into a layout to make stuff like magazines, newsletters, things like that, and so that's what we did. So I really like restoration, what it can do. I'm going to show you some examples before we jump into it of some prior students in here that have done photo restoration. And so here's a before. I'll show you a before and an after of a couple of them here. So here's a before. And if we look around the house, if you guys look around your house, your grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, whatever, more than likely you'll find photos like this that are, been in a Bible and folded up or put away for a while or something. This one has a pretty predominant crease down the middle of it, as you can see, with a lot of white where it's been bent. And so it's, damaged a little bit right in here. Everything else isn't really too bad. But this here is pretty significant. And so using like the clone tool or something in Photoshop, or we'll be using Pixlr, you could correct that pretty easy. So here's a post of that same photo. Pretty good job. Restoration does take a while. Like I did a restoration photo of my grandma and grandpa. Before they got married, they didn't really have a really nice photo of them together, which way back when that was pretty common because he worked as an engineer, just out of school. She was in another state, and they just, didn't have any real chance to, didn't have a Walmart at every corner to go get your photo, or Sears to get your photo. So anyway, long story short, I found 2 really good photos of them before they got married and merged them together into an album. And it took a while. It took about 3 or 4 weeks to work on it and to get it like I wanted to. Let's see here. Let's do this baby one here. So here's a baby photo. Crease pretty predominant here. Everything else not too bad. A little dark, and that's about it though. Not really too awful as far as. And so what she did, she got rid of that piece, lightened it up a little bit. So quite a bit difference in the before and after there. We'll pick one more here. Let's do this one here. This one here is really light, almost whitewashed, maybe sitting in the sun in a window, maybe on a dash of a car for years or something. I don't know. But you can see it's really whitewashed, a lot of cracks. It's got a dog in the lower left corner, which you really can't see until you look at it for a little bit. That is a dog. His face is pretty much washed out all the way. And so let's see what she did here on the after. And so she darkened up the photo, added some colorization to it, and looks quite a bit better than the before. And so again, that's just a couple examples of what you'll be doing. But restoration is something, post-editing is something you'll always be doing in all your photos, by the way. All photographers, both, hobbyists like yourself and professional, always do post-editing, whether it be in modeling, sports, family photography, nature photography. And so what you'll learn this week, hopefully, is some tools to help you using Pixlr.com. And tonight we're going to play around with some cool with Pixlr.com in the in-class lab and show you kind of how it works. I'll recommend a couple examples for you to do and have fun with. So let's jump right into it. All right, so I already showed you the examples. These next two links are actually tutorials or for Pixlr. If you're a Pinterest user, Pinterest has a lot of cool, not just pictures people like, but they do have a lot of cool tutorials as well. And so this is using Pixlr, and most of you are familiar with Photoshop, or you've heard of Photoshop, right? We're going to be using Pixlr for the in-class and also for your take-home photo restoration lab or assignment. And Pixlr is pretty much like an online Photoshop. It doesn't have all the tools that Photoshop has, but it pretty much has everything you would ever need to edit a photo. And what's cool about it is, yeah. Do what now? I would like you to attempt Pixlr first. Yeah, I would. To at least, because the reason I want you to use it is as a photographer, you might not always have Photoshop around with you, and you can fire Pixlr to help edit photos on the fly because it's a browser-based and real easy to access. And what's nice about Pixlr too is if you do have a PSD file from Photoshop, it will open up a PSD file with layers, and you can continually edit that. So I would like you to take a stab at Pixlr this week, and then if you want to go back to Photoshop afterward, that's great. But at least it'd be a tool for you to understand what it is, have it bookmarked, and have some foundation of how to use it. So these are some tutorials. I will not be signing any of these tutorials, by the way, but it's probably well worth looking at. The next one is this one here, this ICT Publish on Pixlr. Let's see if it loads up here. And so it's got a whole bunch of, looks a lot nicer and neater, going over everything from presentation and Pixlr interface, sizing and saving, brightness and contrast, tilt and cut, adjusting hue and saturation, adjusting levels, curves. And some of these terms I'm already mentioning, you're familiar with, those of you who've done Photoshop. Marquee tool, text writer, new layer, lasso, pencil brush, clone stamp, magic wand, radiant tool. And again, you've heard, those of you in Photoshop have already heard of all these tools already. Smudge tool. And what's great about Pixlr, even if you haven't heard of these tools, they're real easy to learn, okay? Red eye removal, drawing tool, bloat tool, pinch tool, color picker, hand tool. So this is a really good one, a go-to one, I guess, I would say, from on a Pixlr tutorial. So these are just some examples. And Nels Ackerman, which is a local photographer, he came and demoed some stuff one year. I showed him Pixlr, and since then him and his photographers have started using it because it's just so much easier to post-edit after a session. They don't have to go back to the lab and get to full Photoshop, and you just use Pixlr. And what's cool about Pixlr too, if you sign up to Pixlr, you can save photos either in your Dropbox or Pixlr does have a small cloud account you can save it at. So does anybody watch, it's been a while, the Avatar movie? The Avatar movie? Can you remember that? And one of the Avatar, and this is what we're going to do. I'm going to recommend you doing this one tonight, a couple of these. So throughout the years of photography, my years of photographer, I had to learn to manipulate photos, both in school, how to manipulate photos for my graphic design degree. But it's one of those areas, photo manipulation is one of those areas that you really can get into. You can really get excited about. Because if you think about it, I've done this a number of times over the years. Take a photo of somebody that's passed, and somebody else's family, they've lost somebody, lost mom, dad, whatever, and be able to bring a photo that's kind of old and yucky and, you know, crinkled or whatever, and present it to them, restored in a nice 8x10 frame. I mean, the emotions you can imagine is pretty over the top. And so restoring photos, and for most people, especially if that person's gone, it restores memories. It brings back a memory of that person that maybe they haven't thought of for a while. And so to me, just like everything we've learned so far this semester, photos do that. They bring back memories, just like music does. We might listen to music from the 80s, in my generation. I remember games I went to, football games I went to, proms I went to, fights that I had, you know, good days, bad days, you know, all these things that you learn when you're growing up. Music's your culture, right? Whatever that music is you listen to. And same with pictures of them. Pictures bring back a lot of cool memories. You know, over the years, family members have passed, friends have passed, and when I see a picture of somebody, it means a lot. It really does. You know, how many, you know, in your house you walk around and you have family members or people you don't get to see a lot, and pictures really, you know, make a difference. They really do. Just by looking at somebody's face for a few seconds, really, maybe you had a bad day, and it really kind of encourages you. Same thing with photo restoration, because what you're doing is, it's kind of like a physician for photos. Think about it like that, right? And some of you are already pretty versed already, probably. Some of you might not be, but you're going to have fun either one. Whatever camp you're in, whether you're well versed or not, I want you to have a lot of fun this restoration assignment. Before we get into this part here, the in-class, here's what I want you to do for your assignment. We'll talk more about it at the end, but you might already be thinking about a picture already that you already know you're going to do. You already got it in your head. If you don't and can't think of one, quickly all you need to do is message some friends of yours right after class, and literally within probably a minute or two, people will be sending you pictures to restore, right? Photos that they have gotten. Some of them might not be digital pictures, so you might have to scan them. We do have scanners here in the lab. You can bring pictures in, because when I was going to school, and even not too many years ago, everybody had scanners, but pretty much not anymore. But so we do have scanners here in the lab. You can definitely come in and use. It does have instructions on the scanners how to use them. And what you can do with those scanners, I recommend, if you have a picture in a frame that you want to restore, is take the photo out of the frame, because the glass will get some glare. Put it on the bed of the scanner, and then you can save it. The resolution, I'd like you to save your pictures as, and I do not have this, I don't think, anywhere in the instructions, so you might just jot it down. When you're saving a picture for print, 150 dots per inch, 150 dpi is plenty to save it as, because one of the things that asks you to do when you scan a picture or anything you scan, it asks you what resolution you want to save it as, and 150 is plenty, because these printers and anything you print on or whatever can't go higher than that anyway, as far as for the quality that we'll be using. And plus, we'll be submitting ours via online. Yeah.
Most of the printers now in Office Max, like their fax printer and scanner, all of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and if you didn't want to, I'm glad you mentioned it. If you didn't want to come here to do these, like Jack said, any of these local, like, I don't think Woodman's has them anymore. I think did Woodman stop doing photos? I think they did. But Walgreens has a scanner. Walmart has a scanner. FedEx, which used to be Kinko's over by AT&T on State, it has a scanner, a number of scanners. And what's the new one? Not Woodman's, that just came in on Perryville, the new store. New shopping store. What's that one? What is it? Meyer? Yeah, Meyer's got it. Meyer's had a whole, I walked in their tech center last week where they sold printers and computers, and they had a whole fleet of scanners. So if you don't want to come here, you can go there. It's not going to cost you much to do it. And again, you might already have a digital copy of something, but more than likely, if you're restoring a photo like my grandma and grandpa's photo, I had to scan 2 physical copies because they didn't have digital back then. So we're going to decide, you're going to decide what tutorial you're going to do. I'm going to run through all of these real quick, all 4 of them. I'll recommend like in level of difficultness, how from easy to difficult, which one of these 4 are. If you don't finish the in-class lab, I'm going to give you about 30, 45 minutes to do this, by the way. If you don't finish by like say 8:45, no big deal. You can go home and keep working on it. So here's what I recommend you do for the in-class. If you're not well-versed in Photoshop already, don't feel bad. I'll tell you what I recommend you to do. If you are well-versed in Photoshop and you still want to get it done quickly to start working on your restoration assignment like tonight, I'll tell you which one to do as well, okay? So let's look at all of these. And by the way, I do have steps for Pixlr and also for Photoshop. Those of you, I do have Photoshop at home. I do have the tutorials for both, all right? So, and by the way, once we're finished with this, I will tell you how to submit this to Foki, not your Foki, but my Foki account. So anyway, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to show you the, we'll do the first one, avatar, is you have to download an image. So if you click on that download image link, you can do it with me real quick. That way, if you decide to use this one, you already have it on your computer. It'll bring it up to a web page like this. Click the download button, and we're going to download it. It'll download it to your downloads folder. All right, so with that said, if you want to just look on the overhead, I'm going to run through how this works, and you can just kind of watch me do it. And I'm going to run through the next 3 quickly as well after this one. So what we're going to do with this one is take Tom Cruise's face, and we're going to add a avatar look to his face, basically. All right. There are some tutorials, by the way, that actually show you how to do the ears and the sparkles and the forehead and the creases, and we're not going to have you do that. But you know that might take a couple hours to do, but it is fun. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, and I'll show you what I'm doing and where I'm going in just a second, just if you can watch on the overhead. Especially those of you are familiar with Photoshop, kind of watch, because you'll notice the layout of this is much like Photoshop. And this is online Pixlr that I'm using. And so basically what I'm going to do is on this one, I'm going to, first of all, come over here to the right, and I'm going to select this lasso tool, and I'm going to change it to the polygonal lasso. The lasso tool in Pixlr and in Photoshop is a freehand tool that I can trace whatever, right? The polygonal lasso tool allows me to click, 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 and draw around and trace something. So if you want to watch me, I'm going to go ahead and click on this, starting with his hairline, and I'm just trying to capture the skin tone only, and I won't be perfect, I can tell you, on it. If I had more time, I would. So the polygonal lasso tool is going to let me select only the skin tone. Everything else I'm going to leave along, the jacket, hair. And on polygonal lasso, the only thing you need to be careful of is don't double click on a polygonal lasso, because it'll close the loop and then you got to start over again. So just take your time on clicking, and again, I don't expect perfection here. We're just seeing how it works. A lot of different ways to avatar affect anybody's skin. I'm going to be using hue saturation. So there we go. Now what I always do is, you'll notice up on the overhead, it has the layers, just like Photoshop. I can layer this. So I'm going to do a Command C and a Command V to layer that I just did, and go back to the history. Let me do that one more time. And uncheck that. All right, I'm gonna leave that there right now. Okay, so I'm gonna do a hue saturation. I'm gonna go to the adjustment column and go to hue and saturation. And all I'm gonna play with on this is hue and saturation. Yeah,
We need to create an account. It wants my
Nope.
email.
you don't have to create an account for Pixlr. Nope. And I'll run through this again. I'll show you exactly what I did. So I did it fast on purpose, so you just watch on the overhead here. So what I'm gonna do here is just take the hue, not the saturation or lightness, and begin sliding the hue till I figure out where I want it to be. On the right side, it's blue. On the left side, it's blue. The left side is going to be a little bit more natural than the right side. So we'll do that there. That's fine. Okay. And click here to deselect. And since my layer didn't work like I wanted to, I'm going to come up here to edit and deselect all. Do that. There we go. And I'm just going to show you how you can create another layer here. Or I'm going to create another layer here. I'm going to open up another original image of him because I should have duplicated him when I came in, but I didn't. So I'm doing Command A, Command C, and I come over here and doing a Command V. Okay, so here's what it was original. And just like in Photoshop, I can label this. So this is my original layer. I'm just going to put in here ROIG for original. And then for this one, it's going to be the modified. So I can go back and forth between my original modified and show me what it looks like. And so basically what I've done is I've just taken Tom Cruise's face and put an avatar effect to it. And what's cool about hue saturation is hue saturation will not colorize the skin. It actually changes the color of the skin, leaves the natural pigmentation, the texture of the skin, the light tones, shadows, or whatever, really easily. And there's other tools you can use, but I recommend hue saturation on any skin type of edits. Does that make sense? So let me show you what I just did. I know some of you have already started on it. So all I did was go to pixlr.com. And from pixlr.com, you want to scroll down until you see, you should have two options, Pixlr Express and Pixlr Editor. You want to click the Pixlr Editor and click on Launch Web App. And you have four options: create new image, open image from computer, open from URL, and image library like Pixlr, Facebook, and other libraries like Dropbox. I have used this open image from URL. It doesn't really work real well. I mean, it's worked sometimes, but not all the time. So I just recommend if you ever use this, always upload from your computer. That's what I always do. So then basically what you do, once you've done that, you're ready to open image from computer. So go ahead and click on that. I think I had you download the tc.jpg, the Tom Cruise image. Should have went into your download folder. You can click on that and open it. And does anybody remember what tool I used to do that, to select his face? Yeah, polygonal lasso. And by default, just like in Photoshop, when you select polygonal lasso, you'll also have the option to select, or the lasso tool, you'll also have the option to switch it to polygonal lasso tool. And that's the one that actually allows you to do the click select. And I always start in the middle of the face, right at the hairline. And I work my way to the right and go all the way around. If you want to do it the other way, that's fine. The trick on polygonal lasso is just remember one click at a time. Don't double click. If you mess up, you can just start over again. No big deal. And just quickly trace like I am on the overhead. Tom Cruise's face, his ears, neck, just everything but the jacket and hair, basically. We're just going to trace everything. Face, neck. Anybody, by the way, see the Jack Reacher movies? Anybody see the Jack Reacher movies that he's in? Pretty good. If you like action movies, it's pretty good. Now, some of you are thinking, well, I can take my face and make it tan, or I can make my face and do a whole bunch of things with it. Yeah, you definitely can. So now when you get back to the original point, you have to make sure and click on where you started. When you get the marquee like this one, you're good to go. All right. And technically, I should have, again, duplicated my layer, but I didn't. So then I'm going to go to Adjustment, Hue Saturation, and here's where I can play with my hue. If I click the Colorize, by the way, which I did do before, this is where it actually, it really looks, it doesn't look natural. It's just like a red film over the face, or a blue film, or whatever film it is. You know, it's just basically like a film going over it. Not that it looks bad. It doesn't look as natural though as a non-colorized like that. This just looks more natural, I think, than the colorized. And once you get it all the way left, hit OK. To get rid of the ellipsis here that's around his face, you can just go to the Edit menu and deselect all, or you can do the Command D command. And by the way, too, if you're already familiar with Photoshop shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts, they work in Pixlr as well, except on a Mac, you're going to be doing the Command whatever versus Control whatever in Windows. How many is this the first time you've used Pixlr and you're a Photoshop person? What do you think of it? Just right quick, what do you think of it out of the box? For a browser app that's not, you don't have to install it. Not bad, right? Now, I haven't showed you the powerful stuff of it, of how to save this stuff real quick. Let me show you that. So take whatever you've got done right now, and we'll pretend we have like 10 layers over here. We've done a whole bunch of cool stuff with it. Go to the File menu in Pixlr and go to Save. And the format you want to save it as to keep the layers is PXD. So instead of PSD like Photoshop, it's PXD. And by the way, just so you know, Pixlr has been around for about 6 years. And it's used by a lot of artists, both photographers and non-photographers. And there is a commercial version of this too, by the way, all right, that does cost money. So once you've named it, PXD format, just hit OK. You save it in the same location is fine. And what that's going to do is you can email that to yourself. You can put it in a Dropbox account, whatever. Go home, keep working on it on any computer you're at. You notice other options you could choose, like Pixlr Library. I've never used that. I've always just used natively my computer to do that. Now, quickly, I want to look at some of the tools before we go on to the other ones. We used for this one the lasso tool and the polygonal lasso. It also has a move tool in Photoshop and in Pixlr both. The move tool is to move objects on the picture. The crop tool crops the picture or anything in there. Marquee tool will select a marquee Wand tool will select with the wand different parts of the picture. Pencil is a pencil, brush is a brush. Paint tool will dump any paint that's here in the bottom left for your set main. Right now mine's black, but this looks exactly like Photoshop, by the way. One of the reasons why this looks so much like Photoshop, a lot of engineers that worked at Photoshop and programmers helped program Pixlr. Next, we've got, this is used a lot in your restoration, clone stamp. Clone stamp works exactly like clone stamp in Photoshop. Exactly. Gradient you probably won't use, but that's just a gradient tool. Color replace tool, that's a nice one to use if you want to color replace something from somewhere else on a photo. Drawing tool, blur tool, sharp tool, smudge tool, sponge tool, dodge, burn. Spot healing, that's a nice one. Like for instance, if I wanted to take this, go down a little bit further on that. Good. So, see this little blemish here? It's not a blemish. I think he's just naturally always had that. But if I want to get rid of that, I can use this spot healing tool here. And this is good. This is one of the ones you guys can do tonight is removing blemishes, which is something you do a lot of times in post editing. Select the size. And what I recommend on the blemish tool is on the healing brush is make sure the brush is a little bit bigger, not too much, but a little bit bigger than what it was you're wanting to cover. So this is a little way too bigger. So I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Maybe like 15 or something. That'll work. 10. That'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And we go back to Command 0 to bring it back. And I think I made the circle a little bit too big. Let's do that one more time. Let's see, blend nearby. Yeah, that's right. That's good. Let's shoot. I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger than that 10. It wasn't quite big enough. Because it has to get enough around it to know what to make it look like. There we go, much better. And so I got rid of that blemish with the spot healing brush. Much nicer than what it looked like earlier. And then bloat tool, pinch tool, same as in Photoshop. Type, color picker. Color picker works just like Photoshop. I can come over here and select whatever color. It'll change it here in the color scheme. And then also hand tool where I can move stuff around. So same functionalities on tools, by the way. On the menu, let's look at that real quick. Free transform, free distort, select all, deselect all, invert, select pixels, image size, canvas size, same as Photoshop, rotation, flip canvas, crop, all the layer menus are the same, adjust is the same, filter the same, plus they actually add a few more than out of the default Photoshop install. View, pretty much the same. If you lose your layers or history, you can bring them back. Languages, you can apply it to any language other than English as well. So that's Pixlr. All right, so let me jump to the next one. Easy wise, that's probably the easiest one. Yes. With the what? Save feature? What browser are you using? What is it? Yeah, I would use Chrome. Chrome works best. Thank you for mentioning that because I didn't mention that at first. Chrome works best with Pixlr. Safari with Pixlr does not work that great. Some features don't work. So use Chrome. Vampire one. Let's look at this one. And that first one's all I'm going to do with you or show you how to do it. The rest of these you can do your own. This one is Pixlr transformation, making this person, this beautiful person here, to a nice, lovely vampire using only Pixlr tools. And they go step by step of how to do it. They give you the beginning photo to start with. Open it up, and you have to scroll down past the, let's see here, where's it at? I think you have to click, yeah, keep clicking next. So step 2, step 3, pasty pale skin. After step 3, then you've got to do the sexy sunken eyes and cheek. Show you how to do that, exactly what to do with the layers, opacity, background layer, and everything. This one's a little bit more complex, but for those who want a challenge, you might like this one. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're not used to Pixlr. This is something that students have told me they really like this one. So anyway, I won't go through all that, but you just follow the steps. Once you're finished going through all the steps, you have the vampire effect. Next is red eye. This is a fairly easy one, but used a lot in photography. And so this one goes through the steps of how to change the eye color or how to change red eye. And this goes through, I think the one that we have for this one is, you can do this one here if you want to, how to change the eye color in Pixel. Because one of the features they've added to Pixlr, and this is recent, is red eye reduction tool. So if you do have red eye in a picture, you can just use that one, and it works really well. You just make it a little bit bigger in circumference of the pupil, click it, done. Change eye color. This one right here goes through how to change this nice brown eye color. All the way down, all the way down, turn it green. So it ends up brown, from a nice brown color to a nice green color in 13 steps. They do put some additional steps in here too if you want to play with it. That's a fun one as well. And this one here, you're creating a circle. You're doing the Z tool, the zoom tool, lasso tool, copy and paste, creating layers. And again, if you're not familiar with Photoshop, it's, again, an easy one to do. So far, the easiest, though, will be Avatar, Red Eye. And so those are the 4 choices you have. Go ahead and start any which one you want. If you want to get something done quickly, I would say definitely the Avatar, Red Eye will be the 2 easy, and change. Actually, the 3, Avatar, Red Eye, change eye color. The hardest one's going to be Vampire. But it's not hard. It's just more steps. Okay? Questions? And I'll just kind of walk around and help as needed. And I'm at 8:22. We'll go like till, like 5 till 9. We'll go like 5 till 9, and then we'll stop. Whatever you have done, you'll just save it to PXD. And then I'll walk you through what your homework is for the week. So post editing and restoration this week. It's a lot of fun. I hope you guys have fun. I took on one I did use for years, which was a city square where you would bring in an alien ship and then change the background of the sky to gloomy, and then rocket ships and things you bring in. One student spent like 12 hours on it, so I was like, I'll take them out. It was fun, but it creeped into their restoration project. So these are just to show you kind of the basics of Pixlr, how to use it. And if you already know Photoshop, you can do it differently than the Photoshop or than the steps tell you in Pixlr, in the tutorial, for sure. More than one way to skin a cat, they say. So you can do the same thing in Pixlr, like you do in Photoshop. And they do have, by the way, for the Pixlr app, apps for your phone and iPad and Android devices that do add a little bit more features and ability to save local. But I've always used just the browser version, and I've really liked it. While you guys are doing that, I'm gonna set up your link to submit this. You got some music.
She's gonna win. The lights are on, right?
Darkness will
Too depressing for graphics. There we go. Bless you. All right, maybe your attention real quick, just stop for a second. When you're finished with your in-class, you'll create a new email. You will need to do this on your RBC email. It won't work in, it will not work in Eagle. So you have to do it in your RBC email or Gmail account, whatever it is you want to use. Send it to that email address. It's chuconpluspixler17@foki.com. Attach a before and after JPEG or whatever your before was. It might be a PNG or something. But make sure the after is after.jpg. Subject line your last name, send it, and that's the link to where it's going to go, and you'll be able to view it. And this is actually on you'll have to refresh this page if you're on Eagle. But this is the album right here. When you upload it, you'll see your picture in there. Okay?
So you can send it from any email except for the RBC one?
Yeah, RBC Eagle won't work, but any other email will work. Yeah, as long as you can send email.
And you want to
Oh, that was
see the avatar one?
Yeah, you can do whatever one you want to do. You can do whichever one you're doing in class. It's one you want before and after.
Oh.
So if you're doing that one, that'll work before and after. Cool. Oh, yeah, that's good. And so you'll just see the before, which you probably already have on your computer, right? That before image of Tom Cruise. So just before, rename it to before. And then when you save this one, just save it as after and make sure you select JPEG as the format. You're just choosing one. Yeah, you just choose one out of the four. Either do avatar, vampire, red eye, change eye color. Once you're done, give me before and after and follow those instructions how to send it. And do it with an email, everything but RBC email. Yeah, inoculation. Vampire, yeah, vampire. You're gonna do the vampire. There you go. That's right. You like it? Different challenge. Good. Ooh, let's get green. We'll get green. Looks like we have a toss-up between Avatar Tom Cruise, Vampire, and eye color. It's good. Does anybody already know what picture you're going to do your photo restoration? You want to click on, do you log in with your username? Okay. Double click on, scroll down for me. on desktop and go to Macintosh HD. Users. And your username should be here. Like desktop, choose on desktop. If you need help saving this on your Macs, let me know. Especially if you log in with your S number. Julie said in here. If you need help, let me know. Just make sure don't use RVC Eagle. We got the stripes there. Yeah.
Your might as well, 'cause I already did all the blue and stuff. So
Yeah.
That's on mine. when I have time.
You gave Tom Cruise a little stubble, more stubble, so it just pops out. I think it just pops out with that blue.
I added more eyebrows.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I tried to get rid of the stubble so I could make.
Oh, yeah.
skin,
Yeah, that's
but
it.
I tried it, but
Everybody
it
gotta have the
was.
stubble. Gotta have the stubble. How we doing? Anybody need help? Right, you're over there. And these steps are also in your Eagle for Ian class. Here in about a minute, I'm gonna go over your take home. That way, if you do, some of you are almost done, and that way I can make sure to hit it way up on that. Yep. What else? Okay, let's do this. Leave it just like that. Go up to your adjustment. Go to hue saturation for me. Let's play with the hue saturation. But we're actually just saturation. Take the saturation down. We're up. Nope. All right, let's go to hue. Like that. There we go. Might have to play with a combination of hue and saturation to make it a little bit more real. Maybe even brightness. Because you're doing what on that darken mode? Does that have you do a darken one on that one? Hit cancel for me. Go back to your steps for me. So where are you at? In the darken, yeah, it looks like you did that. I'm guessing there's going to be a range the opacity to dark, above the darken that you like. So where's the opacity? There you go. That's all you need is the opacity level. Change the opacity level. What color was it you wanted it to be? From brown to what? What was the original color? Okay, so let's bring the opacity up. What's the dark in color? Might be a little too, is it blue? Yeah, let's take the opacity down and normal on that. Make it dark, but bring the opacity down to that level. And then bring the opacity back up on layer 2. Yeah, layer 2, let's bring the opacity up to 100. Layer 1, bring the opacity down. Doing that because you did. Did you do dark level down or normal? Okay, yeah, do it back on the dark then. Go back on layer 1 and change the opacity. Layer 1, and click on opacity for that. Go back to your steps. Scroll up higher. Okay, you did that. You get the brush size. You did a new layer, right? Before you did that, get new layer. Keep going. And you did this in the layer menu. You clicked on normal and then darken. Well, let's get rid of the one, I guess, that you just did. Which was that layer 2. Yeah, get rid of that, or click the checkbox, hide it. Let's just do, you have your history already to where you just click on it. It should bring back the where you were at. Keep clicking on it. No, keep clicking on it until you bring back the circle. Go down on the history. Yep. Keep clicking. It'll remember everything, even the circle. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. Should have. All right, we'll go ahead and select it again. And you have to be on what, new layer? And so create a new layer. Make sure you're on the new layer. Okay, good. Colorize it, right? What is that? Colorize it after you do the selection? Yeah, copy it and paste it. I think that's part of the stuff you missed there before you did the restoration. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was. You probably didn't copy that layer before you darkened it, maybe. It was just a solid color. It's a solid blue or whatever it was. Okay, let me show you on the overhead. I know some of you are finishing up here. And if you don't get done on it, you can save it to PXD and keep working on it. But here's the deal. For the take home, I'm going to change the submit email to for this semester. It'll be ChuCon plus restore 17 instead of 15. But I've already talked a little bit about this. Digital or hard copy of a photo around your house or somebody's giving it to you. Use the image, manipulate it, post manipulation, be blemish restoration, whatever the case. Use those tutorials that I showed you in the week 7 for Pixlr. It goes over all, especially the tutorial that goes over 0 to like 15 or 16, each one of them individually. I'd recommend that one. Especially, I'm guessing, if you're doing restoration, like a clone stamp tool, you'll probably need to know how to use that in Pixlr. It's the same exact way you use it in Photoshop, but if you haven't used Photoshop, you'll need to watch that video on that. So what you'll do basically is make the needed adjustment. So say there's a line in a photo, that would be a clone stamp tool to be used, I'm guessing, for that one I'd recommend. It could be brightening up the photo. Make sure when you bring a photo into Pixlr, immediately duplicate the layer. And in Pixlr, the easy way for duplication, let me just show you this. And again, you've done this before in Photoshop, no big deal, you've done it before. But let me just open up that Tom Cruise one. And what I normally do is I'll take this original picture, click and drag it to the new paper icon, new layer icon. It'll duplicate it. Then I'll name the original like ORIG. I know that's the original one. Or you might want to put before. And as soon as you do that one, you just uncheck it and you know that it's there and done. And then you can start editing with the background layer. Background layer will be locked initially and you'll need to double click on it to start editing it. So submit your before and after to the email address on 3 and 4. It will be changed to number 17 instead of 15 here. Also, the link will be there as well to the album, just like you're in class. And I did put an example here from fall 2014 restoration. Some examples folks did there that you can definitely better yourself to look at. And it's got some good ones in that. It's got a mixture of marriage ones, kids, sunsets, a whole bunch of different ones in there. So it's a good mixture of them to give you inspiration. Questions on your take home? All right. Well, once you find a stopping place, if you're not yet done with your in class here in about 5 minutes, you can save it as a PXD and email it to yourself and keep working on it later. Just make sure and submit it with the instructions I gave you for the in class. Good job, by the way. Excellent job. You guys are doing great. Can't wait to see some of your work. Is that what it was? You just didn't copy the layer of the eye? Once you do that, then darken it. It should have, when you do the opacity change, it should, oh yeah. No, that was good. I like it. Just refresh the page and it should give you the instructions. If you refresh it, I updated it. There you go. So follow those instructions on how to submit it. You will need to use an email outside of RBC Eagle. Ooh, what you're doing now. Ooh, yeah. That's a good one. Yeah, he fits that face perfect. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can play pretty much any type of role. Serious, funny, Greg, creepy. That's good. How's your vampire coming over here? Cool. That's good. Good. How's your Tom Cruise avatar coming? Oh yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
And did it show up on? Did you submit it? Was it able to show up for you?
Yeah, I submitted it through my RBC email.
Okay, cool. And you checked the link. Did it show up on in the album?
I didn't check that.
I'll look. You don't have to. I can look real quick. Let's see. Should show up right here. Boom. Wow. Yeah. Ooh, that's a good job. Like it. Hey, Jack went all wild on the wild one here. Looks like almost a mixture of maybe the Terminator and a bad mask, facial mask, maybe. Yeah, good job. So this is yours there.
Mine showed up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Ooh, no. Great job. Great job, everybody. think there's gonna be a lot of hooky tomorrow from work, I believe. It's 72 degrees. Yeah. Did you ever get your ever fun up at your internship?
Oh, no, not yet.
No.
No, not yet.
Or I was gonna ask you, were you wanting to get an internship in photography or just IT or what?
I haven't really decided yet.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, if you need a reference, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.